sprain.
I know.
Never happened to me. No, never.
Pedro Gomez was doing a live Sports Center hit and turns around and literally says, "Are you okay?" Nobody touched me.
The fact that you injured yourself makes it worse. You know that, right?
Oh, man, I had the mean in and out, too. Ankle just went like
it
this.
was real mean.
Oh.
It was real mean.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, our front office insider, and apparently basketball, what?
Pickup warrior. Yeah.
No.
I love that. Give yourself a good name there.
Our three-time NBA champion, Byron Scott. Welcome, everybody. And guys, I got to tell you, change is hard. You can go all the way back to Sir Isaac Newton on this one. You know, Newton's theory of inertia, a body at rest tends to stay at rest. Or as we like to say here in modern times, it's a lot easier to talk about it than to be about it. This is particularly true in the NBA. Think about how many Octobers you've heard the Knicks tell us that this year things are going to be different. Or how many seasons in a row the Clippers have thought, this is the year we're finally going to stay healthy and make a run. Most of the time, that talk ends up being just talk. Newton's law holds. That's why what James Harden and the Rockets are doing this season is such a big deal. It's not just that Harden has been stuffing the stat sheet more than a Christmas goose or that the Rockets are absurdly fun to watch. It's that this is a complete 180-degree turnaround from the 1-2-3 Cancun team that we saw last season. Take last night's game against the Cavaliers. I'm saying a good thing here. The Rockets were down to the defending champs by 14 points at two separate times. And I promise you, last year's Houston squad would have folded so fast, some of the players might have actually tried to get home in time to catch The Walking Dead. This year's team, though, they fought. Here's a stat for you. The Rockets outscored the Cavs 15-7 in second chance points. And here's another stat in the I give a crap category, turnovers. Houston had just 6 compared to Cleveland's 15. Patrick Beverley in particular was a Rottweiler, fighting for loose balls, sparring on defense, and then sinking that dagger three-pointer. You hear a little yell, "How do you like me now?" as it came down the court after that one. Now, the Cavaliers were on the second night of a travel back-to-back. I'm not ready to declare the Rockets title favorites after this game. But the truth is, last night wasn't a measuring stick game for Houston because they beat the defending champs. It was a measuring stick game because they showed just how far they've come from the old version of themselves. In Houston, apparently, Newton's law can shove it. Byron, who do you credit for this turnaround? Because it is so distinct.
Daryl, the GM of the Houston Rockets. And for two reasons. Number one, he had the smarts to understand that, listen, I'm going to hire Mike D'Antoni. You know, that's number one. And number two, he was smart enough to understand that Dwight Howard, if you eliminate him from this situation and the way that this team wasn't getting together, you know, they didn't have a lot of love for each other. You know, James Harden and him didn't have a lot of love. The chemistry is such a big part of being successful in this league. And that subtraction has made them a much better basketball team. Those two things that he did, he's the one, to me, is the biggest reason that this Rocket team is as good as it is this year.
He definitely deserves credit. Credit goes to Mike D'Antoni for putting a system that these players were perfect to play in. But as I was telling Steve, our producer, Mike could have the perfect system. It doesn't work unless the players buy in.
Absolutely.
And what James Harden did
Well, that's me. Harden to me is he's
bought
the engine.
in. And when you say bought in, because he was averaging a lot of assists last year as well. People say, what's the difference? The difference is he's doing things quicker now. Everything is quick decision. No more ball stopping. No more holding and waiting and evaluating. Everything is quick on the move, whether it's a shot or a pass. He's making his decisions a lot faster, and that's making everyone feel more involved, more energetic, and now we're playing better basketball on the offensive end. And guess what's happened, Rachel? They're also playing better defense.
Much better.
Since January 1st.
I mean, the bar was low.
Since January 1st, a top 10 defense in the league. They're 15th, I think, on the season. Top 10 in the league right now since January 1st. They're doing it all. So who does the credit go to? The GM for making those decisions, the coach for putting the system in, the player for buying into the system. But I think all of them have a...
I like how you really think it's James Harden, but you had to say Mike D'Antoni's name first because he's your guy. We noticed that. That's cute.
but Rachel, I'll say two things. One, people thought the Rockets were already a good offensive team. Why would you need to get Mike D'Antoni? You see the difference. And two, people love to go, he's not a defensive coach. What does that mean? Unless you have defensive players, coach, you know this. Without talent, can I get results without talent?
No, you can't. So, and I don't care. You know, everybody puts everybody in a box.
Yeah.
You know, and they put Mike in a box as far as just being a great offensive-minded coach. But you don't win on this league by just being a great offensive-minded coach. You have to have some semblance of how to play the game of defense in order to win on a consistent basis. That's what the Rockets have right now. And like You know what I mean? He said, when you get James Harden to buy in, it just trickles down to everybody else.
Everyone else follows.
And now everybody's happy. They're playing together, and they're doing it on both ends of the floor. That's why Houston right now is probably the most dangerous team in the Western Conference.
Oh, those are fighting words.
You know me.
I mean, I give Harden credit particularly for the mental change. I do not think it is easy to sit down and look in the mirror. And as I said at the top of the show, we hear this from NBA players a lot. I really mean it. It's going to be different this time. But the truth is that a lot of guys have a bunch of yes men around them telling them it's everybody else's fault but their own. James sat down and said, it was partly me last year. He said it into television cameras. He said it for everyone to hear. He said, I am going to be different. And then he backed it up. I give so much credit to that. Everybody makes mistakes. If you're going to be accountable for yourself and then go fix it, that's huge in my book.
You know he's
that's
a fellow
big time.
Sun Devil, too.
There you go.
Oh, we will get to that later in the show. We're going to discuss your mutual affiliation later in the show. I do want to get to Cleveland on the other side of this game because, look, they struggled to keep up. LeBron scored 30 points for the Cavs, but they did lose their 4th time in 5 games. Afterward, Coach Ty Lue said his team just ran out of gas. His star player, though, did not agree. So we're going to give you both sides here. Take a listen.
We got tired. You know, I thought LeBron got tired, of course, and Kyrie got tired. And what we took advantage of in the first half, we wasn't able to get those, get downhill because I thought they got tired.
I thought you guys got tired in the second half down the stretch. Did you? No.
Well, there you go. LeBron continuing to say the minutes aren't affecting him. We're going to crank up the Jumped mileage calculator here, though. We've been using this to check up with how much tread he's putting on the tires, and you can see second most in the league for minutes of anybody. 40 minutes last night, 37 the night before, averaging 37.7 minutes a game.
A lot of mixed metaphors here, by the way. A gas tank, mileage, and the battery. Make up your mind. Which one is it?
Yeah, the battery on the gas tank is a little bit weird. But I think that the overall metaphor certainly holds. And, I mean, who do you agree with? Do you think LeBron's right when he's shaking his head, or do you think Ty's right?
He'll never say it, right? LeBron will never say, I'm tired, right?
That's why we have a helpful graphic at the Jump.
There you go. But look, there's no shame in being tired. Third game in 4 nights, coming off a back-to-back, and he's playing a lot of minutes. We're not talking about today, though, you and I, when we bring up this point. We're talking about May and June is when it's going to matter.
That chase down block time.
Yeah, exactly. That extra bit of energy you have left in the tank to go chase that guy down. That's what's going to happen. So did they look tired last night? Maybe the Rockets are just a really good team playing at home.
I think you got to give the Rockets a little bit more credit. You know, I agree with you. I think they're just a really good basketball team right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence. But I'm getting sick of this. I'm tired.
There you go.
You know what? And Tyronn Lue, that's my boy. And as a coach, you know when your guy's a little tired. And I understand what he's saying. But, man, everybody's using that excuse. I'm tired because it's back-to-back. I'm tired because we played 3 games in 4 nights. It's basketball, damn it. Go on out there and just play.
Oh, man.
I'm sick of this.
Well, I will say you are speaking for a lot of fans also, not just older players, but a lot of the people watching the game, because we had the Warriors issue on Saturday night. You had Steve Kerr deciding that he was going to rest Steph and Clay and Draymond and Andre Iguodala against the Spurs on Saturday. Fans were unhappy. Television executives also very sad. Kerr said he did it due to the team's brutal 8-game stretch. The Warriors went 3-5 on that road trip, which weirdly also included 1 home game all the way back on the West Coast against Boston. And look, I mean, you have a lot of mad people for different reasons. Who should they be mad at?
Well, I think the blame goes around. I think the league for not enforcing this. We had this situation before with the Spurs about 5 years ago.
They fined Greg Popovich for that, right?
Well, they should be fining teams for this. Because here's the thing, and I've been saying it since then on all types of platforms. This thing is like ordering a pizza in the dorm room, right? We're all getting in on a pizza. Okay, the pizza shows up. The bill comes. I ain't got it. The pizza, ladies and gentlemen.
But I want my piece.
But I'm still getting a piece. The pizza is the national TV revenue. Us and Turner pay a lot of money for the rights.
$24 billion.
A lot of money
in there.
And that money is contingent on you bringing the goods when we televise your games. When you say, oh, I ain't got my players tonight, that's the guy saying I don't have it on the pizza, but I will still have this national TV money to eat. Like, I'm still eating. It's not like I'm going to say, sorry, guys, I don't have it.
Right.
So it's, to me, the league, because they need to find these guys. You know who else is to blame? The media. You know why? Because when Pop was doing it, everybody's like, oh, Pop is so smart. And I said at the time, he's smart until everybody does it.
That's
and
right.
then you start to complain.
That's right.
Now here we are at the point where everybody's doing it.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I'm going to go back to the 80s. Pat Riley would rest Magic and Kareem and James, but it was 2 games left in the season. Everything was done.
Right.
Everything was sold up. Not during the season where you got 25 games left or you got 20 games left was he resting guys like that. And again, I'm just go back to it again. It's basketball. Just play basketball. I want to hear about I'm tired and all this stuff. Just play basketball.
To the NBA's credit, they are making a change next season. They are stretching out those 82 games over more calendar days. The season's going to start a week earlier. But I agree with you, Amin. These national TV games, it's like Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
They only have, there's 9 or 10 of these Saturday night games a year. When the league is making decisions about back-to-backs and scheduling road trips, the day or two before those Saturday night games should be clear for teams. And then you are not in the position of trying to legislate doctor's notes or anything like that.
Why didn't they rest against the Timberwolves?
Well,
Like, why didn't you just rest that game?
You got to make the fine so significant that they won't do it.
Rest. All right, let's move on to LaMarcus Aldridge, who is out indefinitely for the Spurs. San Antonio announced Saturday that he has a heart irregularity, a minor heart arrhythmia. They did not set a timetable for his return. He's going to undergo more tests. Byron, what do you think this means? Is this a huge hit for them, a little bit of a hit?
No, this is a big hit. You know, I mean, you look at that team, you know, with LaMarcus on that team, they are a legitimate challenge to Golden State and anybody else. When he is off of this team, they dropped to me below Houston. I think you look at the Western Conference, you look at Golden State, now it's Houston, and then maybe San Antonio. So it's a significant loss for the San Antonio Spurs because he means so much to them on the offensive end as well as the defensive end because he is a forward that can stretch the floor, can make jump shots that are wide open or even contested. He's a guy that you can throw the ball to in the post and get you points there. And on the defensive end, he's 6'11". He's long. You know, he's long. So he's going to be able to influence the game on that end of the floor. So this is a huge loss for San Antonio.
I would say it depends. We don't know how long he's going to be out. My family has a history of heart conditions, so arrhythmia sounds scary, but not.
He's dealt with this before.
Yeah,
So.
First of all, he's had it before twice, right? One time he missed, I think, the last 9 games of the season. The other time, I think he missed a couple of weeks. So he might be back in a month. We don't know yet.
Right. And our producer, Jeff, is a mayor. He's right. We don't know for sure if it's the exact same condition.
So the whole thing is part of when you get treated for arrhythmia, you get the medicine, and then that's supposed to bring the heart back to regularity.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're holding on to you just to make sure everything is A-OK, that it's fixed. So part of that waiting period is going to be just making sure he's fine. But hopefully he'll be back, I think, this season. Hopefully. The one thing, though, Rachel and Coach, we talked about this with Brooks, Moses Mo, guys who were in shape.
Yes.
And passed away from different.
It's scary.
And when you get back to basketball, there is a bunch of question marks. Is he going to be back for the playoffs?
Yeah.
Is Kevin Durant going to be back for the playoffs?
Yeah.
Is Kyle Lowry going to be
Playoffs, no
much
doubt.
more to come? Don't go there. We will have a special guest coming up. Steph Curry is joining us. He will weigh in on the Warriors resting players and also what's been going on with his three-pointer. That is coming up next on The Jump.
Curry chicken.
Progressive is America's #1 motorcycle insurer.
Yeah, she does, Pearl. Best bike I ever owned.
No, you're never.
Welcome back to The Jump. You know, it has not been a fun stretch for the Warriors. They lost Kevin Durant in a road game in D.C. They're 2-5 since. And as we were discussing in the last segment, Saturday's loss to the depleted Spurs team drew a ton of controversy when Golden State head coach Steve Kerr decided to rest his star players, including Steph Curry. And guess who joins us now? Steph Curry on The Jump. Welcome, my friend.
How you doing?
Well, I want to get right to it. A lot of fans very frustrated on Saturday, upset with Steve. You've also had media types like me saying the NBA needs to protect these big national TV games on the schedule more, give teams a day off going into them. What's your reaction to all the backlash, and how would you solve this larger issue?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways. It's obvious at the end of the day, it was coach's decision to rest us. We went through this 2 years ago on I think a road game in Denver where he decided to rest me and Andre. And he's, obviously using his discretion to put us in the best position possible to be successful down the stretch of the season. And, that was his call. So as players, we understand we want to be on the floor every single night. And the schedule is what it is right now. We can't control that, but we want to be ready for the playoffs, and that's obviously the priority.
How much more is your team focusing on rest than, say, last season?
I mean, right now we're obviously not chasing 73, so there's a different perspective of, how we want to finish the year. It's not we want to, lock up home court advantage throughout the playoffs, and that's something that's still a goal. But having gone through the experiences last year and the position that we're in right now, I think we're a lot smarter as to how we manage the last 16 games and speaking from coaches kind of perspective on down how we as players, get ourselves and our minds and our bodies ready for a gauntlet 2.5 month championship run.
I mean, you mentioned locking up that #1 seed. You're in a tight position right now with the Spurs, and it's a big difference. I mean, you get #1, we don't know how all the teams in the conference are going to shake out, but you look like you would have an easier road if you get #2. It's possible the #2 seed could face Russell Westbrook and the Thunder and then the Rockets before you even get to the conference finals. Does it feel like a big deal to you to get that #1 versus #2? Is it worth being on the court a few extra minutes for in certain games?
I mean, we'll see how it plays out. We understand we have a opportunity to get back on track just starting this week. 3 home games, and if we can control our own destiny in that sense, we'll see where that puts us. I don't think we're looking at it in terms of who we're going to play. It's more, you'd love to have, any kind of deciding Game 7 at home versus being on the road. And for us right now, with 16 games left in the season, if we're going to lock up home seat or home court advantage, we need to play better and get better as a team. Finishing out the stretch.
You probably won't have Kevin for most of that time. What's the biggest difference without KD on the floor?
I haven't played 60 some odd games with him. You start to develop a rotation and understanding, where guys are going to get their minutes and whatnot. And when he's out, that changes a good amount, with the combination of guys that coach can throw out there. So our identity as a team and how we play doesn't change. And that's something that we can rely on as you play, however many games until he gets back. But we still have a lot of talent. We still have, a lot of experience and just need to play better.
You still have the guy that the record books say is the greatest three-pointer and shooter in NBA history. That would be you, by the way. But your three-point marksmanship, a little uneven lately, right? 1 and 8 in that last game against Minnesota, 16 for 76 on your last group of threes. What's going on with you?
That sounds so bad. I'm gonna keep shooting the same way I have, my whole career, and the routines that I rely on to kind of, fine-tune my shot throughout the course of the regular season is something I'm sticking with, and there's no panic in any sense of that. I'm not losing any confidence, so I know it'll turn around, and you shoot your way out of it. That's kind of my philosophy.
Wasn't it last year that you were 0 for 10, and when you hit that 11th three-point attempt, you started shimmying down the floor? Steve Kerr said you're the only guy in the NBA who would do that.
I got short-term memory loss and some kind of amnesia when it comes to missing shots.
It seems to be working for you. You're also someone who draws huge crowds just for the drills you do in warm-ups. I mean, I got to tell you, I have never seen anything like it in the last couple decades. But not everyone is lucky enough to get to an arena where you're playing. So I was actually super interested to learn that you're turning this degree sponsorship you have with the nifty shirt, right? Very cute, to an opportunity for all the fans at home. Can you explain that 360-degree content that you guys have going on and what it lets fans do?
Well, yeah, with degree, they provide the protection I need to for me to perform at my best on the floor. And a part of that, like you talked about, there's a 360-degree experience where there's a kind of never before seen perspective on the moves that I try on the court, and for fans to be able to get up close and personal with me. So youtube.com/degreemen, you can check that video out. I do make a shot in one of those videos. That's nice. But you can just get a never before seen perspective on the creativity that I try to have on the floor.
That's so nice. The sponsor didn't put your miss in the YouTube video.
We gotta keep it real.
That's how you know your agent's doing good work. Steph, thank you so much for joining us on The Jump. We appreciate it as always.
Thanks, Rachel.
All right, guys, we got to take a quick break, but first we're going to toss to our distant replay from March of 2009, courtesy of the Jet.
Last time came into his own last year.
Terry. I have not seen Jason Terry do that. Going up, hammering it down, drawing the foul. That is impressive.
Contact comes, and he stays with it. Contact is there, but he was already at the rim.
The NBA back on ESPN Wednesday night, starting with Trailblazers Spurs, followed by Bucks Clippers. And make sure you catch Michael Smith and Jamil Hill on the 6 p.m. edition of SportsCenter. It's very good. You should watch it. All right, Nate, you knew this was coming. Dancing! Northwestern is in the big dance for the first time in school history. I am celebrating these boys. Look how sweet that moment is. That is joy right there. That is what we love about college sports. There's a lot about college sports we don't love. This is what we love.
I thought this was an NBA show. That's just me.
Oh, this is great. Hey, Rachel, you should. No, this is great. Rachel, this is great.
Right?
This is great.
This is a very sweet moment. Big props to Chris Collins, really turning the program around.
Props to Chris Collins.
Right?
Props to Doug, but I don't.
Props to my excellent shirt
used that
wear.
by blow my nose.
But-
Right before we came on.
This looks really good. I'm sorry. ASU undergrad, ASU graduate school, Georgia Tech undergrad. None of those teams are in the tournament. Northwestern is in the tournament.
I was giving you props.
You made it. Sprain.
Never happened to me. No, never.
Pedro Gomez was doing a live Sports Center hit. It turns around, literally says, "Are you okay?" Nobody touched me.
The fact that you injured yourself makes it worse. You know that, right?
Oh man, I had the mean in and out too. Ankle just went like
it
this.
was real mean.
Oh.
It was real mean.
Welcome to The Jump. I'm Rachel Nichols, our front office insider, and apparently basketball,
Pickup warrior.
80-degree turnaround from the 1-2-3 Cancun team that we saw last season. Take last night's game against the Cavaliers. I'm saying a good thing here. The Rockets were down to the defending champs by 14 points at 2 separate times. And I promise you, last year's Houston squad would have folded so fast, some of the players might have actually tried to get home in time to catch The Walking Dead. This year's team, though, they fought. Here's a stat for you. The Rockets outscored the Cavs 15-7. This year, things are going to be different. Or how many seasons in a row the Clippers have thought, this is the year we're finally going to stay healthy and make a run. Most of the time, that talk ends up being just talk. Newton's law holds. That's why what James Harden and the Rockets are doing this season is such a big deal. It's not just that Harden has been stuffing the stat sheet more than a Christmas goose or that the Rockets are absurdly fun to watch. It's that this is a complete 180. No.
I love that. Give yourself a good name there.
Our 3-time NBA champion, Byron Scott. Welcome, everybody. And guys, I got to tell you, change is hard. You can go all the way back to Sir Isaac Newton on this one. You know, Newton's theory of inertia, a body at rest tends to stay at rest. Or as we like to say here in modern times, it's a lot easier to talk about it than to be about it. This is particularly true in the NBA. Think about how many Octobers you've heard the Knicks tell us that in second chance points. And here's another stat in the I give a crap category, turnovers. Houston had just 6 compared to Cleveland's 15. Patrick Beverley in particular was a Rottweiler, fighting for loose balls, sparring on defense, and then sinking that dagger three-pointer. You hear a little yell, "How do you like me now?" as it came down the court after that one. Now, the Cavaliers were on the second night of a travel back-to-back. I'm not ready to declare the Rockets title favorites after this game.